G'day folks, welcome to Sumo's Projects and welcome to this week's video. In this video I'm going to be making some really great upgrades to my Mitre Saw Station. So stick around. If this is the first time viewing Sumo's Projects, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell and like and share the video. Alright, let's hook into the build. When I set about building this mobile Mitre Saw Station, I never thought about the amount of outfeed that I need, and I thought this was going to be enough. However, 800 millimeters or around 32 inches wasn't going to get the job done. So I went about, I had the old plywood. This is about an inch thick, 25 mil, and I utilised this to actually make another fence, which would then be a continuation of the fence of the Mitre Saw. Because the quality of the plywood, the thicker stuff, it had been shelving in a warehouse, so I added this bit of marine ply I had left over. This is A-grade marine ply, and I went about gluing it on, and I used a multiple amount of glues here, anything from your Type Bond thick stuff to regular Type Bond, and as well as this super glue with the activator, so it dried pretty quickly. Once the glue had dried, I proceeded to go over to the router table and put a flush trim bit in, and then trim up all the ends and give this a good sand down. As for the joinery, I'm using pocket holes here. These were going to be hidden at the back of the Mitre Saw Station, so you not see anything. Then proceeded to cut out the dado, the trench, groove, whatever you want to call it. It's just cutting a section away for being able to fit in some T-track. I'm cleaning up the tear out with sandpaper, chisel, a file. The top part of the wall of this collapsed because it was only a very thin bit left, but it doesn't matter. Countersunk and put in a few screws here to hold the T-track down, and when I went back to the Mitre Saw, I put in the pocket hole screws, as you can see, using a level as the continuation of my fence, just to get everything nice and parallel and hunky-dory. Next part, I just measured out where I was going to put my new stop, getting an approximate reading of the height. Then I used a 10mm clearance drill and made sure that fit in with the bolt of the T-bolt, and then just cut it down the size. So this part of the process was just about complete, and it works good. So a new system, an extra fence put up, but that's not the least of it. There's always more. Let's see if we can make that even a little bit more extendable. My idea for doing this was to get the absolute maximum potential amount of repeat cutting I could get. So what I've done here, I've cut out another bit of plywood, and I'm going to make a stop, which will be a continuation stop that will run along the T-track, as you'll see as we go along. To make this process a little bit quicker, I went to the table saw, cut it up to a distance, and then took the piece over to the bandsaw. Next step was to get a positioning of the holes and drill 2 holes. Now I'm putting 2 in because it adds a little bit of stability for when you want to lock it down. Then giving it a chamfer on the router table and giving it a bit of a pilot test run here. And I'll tell you what, I reckon this is pretty good. So I've increased the capacity from 800 millimeters here, or 32 inches, up to nearly doubling. We are looking now at, the capacity now is 1700 millimeters, 1.7 meters, or 67 inches in the imperial scale. That's quite a dramatic increase, and it's only done through using simplistic scrap materials as you've seen throughout the build. So I'm really chuffed with this, and I think it's going to go a long way to being able to do a lot of extra work by using this system. Another feature of this little extension is you can flip it around by merely undoing it, turning it over, and now it becomes a stop for working on parts that are closer to the blade. And that's multi-purpose if ever you need it. Having the ability to be able to flip this over for doing cuts closer to the blade gives me a little bit more safe practice, and I feel more confident. So here's a recap of the whole build, guys. It's been a fun job to be able to do this, to increase the capacity with just the fence, and then by adding this extra bit on has just upped the game a whole lot more, because as I mentioned, that's quite a capacity now, and I think that'll be sufficient for any projects I'm working on. So if you liked it, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next one. See you guys.